What's up guys, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. We've got another giveaway this week, so make sure to watch to the end to learn all those details. And our first question this week is coming from Nick Laureta, who also happened to donate $100 on Patreon, which is huge for us. We appreciate that so much, Nick. Thank you, that's incredibly generous. So, what did Nick ask?
Nick asks if we think we will see the Chiss Ascendancy in future stories.
Well, considering the end of Thrawn has a character venture out to the Chiss Ascendancy, I have to think we will. I can't imagine they would just dangle that out there and then drop it forever. Timothy Zahn already has ideas for more Thrawn or Chiss stories, he has said. We don't know if they've been approved or anything, but I think we're definitely going to see him again. Probably in books, most likely. My pipe dream is that, we'd see them in the films. I'd love to see them join the fight against the First Order, especially if Snoke is from the Unknown Regions and they're always about protecting their space and the galaxy from what's out there. Yeah, I'd love to see them join the Resistance and help them out.
Ossian Rhys wants to know if we think there is potential for new and interesting stories in the 30-year gap between episodes 6 and 7 that could go beyond the usual Imperial remnant threat.
Yes, I think so. In fact, I hope so also. I don't really want to see them get caught up in the same trap that Legends did, where the Galactic Civil War kept going and kept going. Like, it is officially done after the Battle of Jakku, but there are possible little Imperial holdouts here and there. I'm okay exploring that. I just don't want it to be the only thing that they do. And yeah, a 30-year gap is a long time. And when we were at Star Wars Celebration, we saw the Collider Jedi Council podcast live, and Ken Napzok said he would love to see a series following Luke and Lor San Tekka as they travel throughout the galaxy and try to learn more about the Jedi. And ever since he said that, I was like, that's such a great idea. I would love to see exactly that, because that would give us a chance to go to a different planet every single week, and there could be plenty of different antagonists. It could be like just some random dark side religion, or just angry natives, or like bureaucracy. Like, they could experience something new, some new challenge everywhere they go, and I feel like that would allow that time period to not get stale and to stay very fresh.
Andrew asks where to start getting into the expanded universe before The Last Jedi comes out.
Now, you specifically ask for things that will be related to The Last Jedi, so when you say expanded universe, I'm guessing you mean the books and the comics in the canon. I will give you some Legends EU examples as well, but let's start with canon. Stuff that might... Well, first, I would just say read Lost Stars. It's a great starting point no matter what. It's amazing. So good. I don't think it's going to tie in with The Last Jedi all that much. It's just amazing. But after that, read Leia, Princess of Alderaan. It's by the exact same author, and it is specifically part of the line Journey to the Last Jedi. I would also read Thrawn, A, because it's great, and B, who knows, maybe my pipe dreams will come true and we'll see some Chiss. And the Phasma book is definitely going to tie in with The Last Jedi, and so is the Phasma comic that's out right now. As for Legends stuff, I mean, I would just run through the greatest hits: the original Thrawn trilogy, the Darth Bane trilogy, Darth Plagueis, the X-Wing series. All of those are great places to start for the old continuity.
Hatmatter wants to know what would have happened to the clones if Palpatine was defeated by the Jedi in the Clone Wars.
I think they probably would have just been accepted into society normally. I mean, even the Empire, after they won, they didn't treat the clones great, but it's not like they took them out behind the shed and shot them all. Like, they were still around, but if Palpatine had failed in his coup and the Jedi had remained in control, then I would assume they would have been treated as war heroes, because the Jedi worked so closely with them, and Order 66 never would have happened. So yeah, I think the clones just would have been normal members of society.
Derek Spicer asks what format we think the first Old Republic content will be released in.
My guess is that we're going to get an Old Republic comic first. That seems to be where Lucasfilm is the most experimental, because it's probably the least risky venture financially. I mean, they could just say, all right, we're going to do a 5-issue Old Republic arc about Darth Bane or Darth Revan or anything in the Old Republic, and they're just going to gauge interest. And then if that does well, they might put out a book. And if that does well, then maybe we'll get a series or a movie or something in that realm. It's kind of like the way they've handled Obi-Wan is he got quite a few issues in the main Star Wars arc just sprinkled throughout. And then we got the Darth Maul Obi-Wan fight in Star Wars Rebels, and now it's sounding incredibly likely that we're going to get a full-blown movie. So I would expect to see something along those lines for the Old Republic.
They could surprise us and make that the debut series from Disney's newest subscription-based
service.
Yeah, like Disney's version of Netflix. They could.
I mean, if they did that, they know how many people are clamoring for it, and so that would probably guarantee quite a few signups. That's it for patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon where I left you a written response. If you're not a patron, you can learn more by following the link in the description. Just $1 a month will get you access to extra Star Wars Explained goodies like monthly giveaways or audio commentaries for the films, and the combined donations really go a long way in supporting the channel.
On to YouTube questions. Umbra Bellum asks what we think of the First Order turning into the Second Galactic Empire in episodes 8 and 9.
I kind of figure they already are the Second Empire thematically. I mean, they don't have the same level of power and control that the Empire did, so yeah, they technically don't have an empire, but they are basically the same villains. And kind of like I said last week, yeah, The Force Awakens was understandably, financially, a very safe movie, so I get why the First Order are our villains for this trilogy. I would kind of love it if they shifted and they weren't the villains by the end of 8 and like something else came out, and even if they joined forces with the Resistance. Like, I want something unexpected like that. I don't want to see another like fascist villain again in the next trilogy. I would rather they find something different, some new antagonist for the following films.
Brian Schwartz wants to know whose lightsaber crystal Kylo Ren bled in order to make his.
Well, the short answer is we have no idea. But I would say first and foremost that Kylo Ren is not a Sith, so he doesn't have to follow the same rules that Sith do as laid out in the new Darth Vader comic. He doesn't have to kill a Jedi and take that crystal. I would just assume the most simple answer right now is that he had his own lightsaber, and that he bled it and he made it red. But knowing how much he idolizes his grandfather, I could also see him taking one of the lightsabers of Luke's other Jedi students and bleeding that. But right now, we just have no idea.
Starkiller100 asks if we think Lucasfilm is in a hurry to get Rebels over with because of a connection with The Last Jedi.
So you are referring to the fact that they are airing 2 episodes a week, and they only announced previously that there were going to be the first 6 episodes, and they would be 2 a week. Well, the Star Wars show has now confirmed that that's not going to be the case for the whole season. It's going to be 2 a week for the first 8, and then on November 13th, there's an episode called Rebel Assault, which, by the way, is a wonderful old game by LucasArts. But after that, I think they're taking a break. So they're going to go,
holiday break.
Yeah, so from November through The Last Jedi and then into 2018, they're taking a break, and they're going to do the remaining half of the season like they have in the past in the following year. So maybe... Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there are some Rebels connections, but obviously they're not trying to rush and get the whole thing out. They're just doing that for the first 9 episodes.
Sturfelt wants to know what story besides Biggs we're most looking forward to from a certain point of view.
literally every story that they've released, like the little excerpts, those cards on Twitter, I've been excited for. I think I'm going to go with Qui-Gon just because that came out of left field for me. I was not expecting that at all. So I'm really excited to just see what he's been doing for the past 19 years as a disembodied voice.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of them that I'm really excited for. The Palpatine excerpt that they released is really interesting. It's written almost like Shakespearean. There's a lot of doths and other...
what's it called? Iambic pentameter? I don't know if it's written like that, but
yeah, it's written kind of like a Shakespeare play, so that's really interesting. And of course, the stormtrooper that hits his head, I'm really excited for that.
Well, I like that they're allowing the authors to not only write these stories, but be very creative with it. Like, another one I'm really excited to read is Admiral Mahdi's HR complaint about Darth Vader force choking him. Like, that's hilarious. And all of those stories seem like a lot of fun. And I think this is a good time to revisit a question that I was asked back in May. Someone asked me in a Q&A to just guess who the 40 characters would be. So I'm going to play that clip right now, and we'll see how many I got right. Captain Antilles, an Imperial officer on the Tantive V4, a Jawa, a droid on the Sandcrawler, maybe R5-D4, but hopefully he's not Force-sensitive this time, Aunt Beru, Uncle Owen, a Tusken Raider, Admiral Mahdi, or someone else in the conference room. I'd love to see Davin Felth return, or some sort of sympathetic stormtrooper. The Cantina will probably have a ton of stories. I bet Wooher will get one. Figrin Dan, the Deveronian Kardu Malak, Boshek, Ponda Baba, or Dr. Evazan, or both. The Tonica sisters, Muftak, Mamau Nadan, Greedo, Garandan, one of Jabba's thugs, Death Star weapons technician, the TIE fighter pilot that they see outside the Death Star, TK-421, Pol Tridum, an Imperial officer in the detention center, maybe another prisoner in the detention center, that could be really interesting. The Dianoga, that's just a weird one I threw out there. The stormtrooper that hits his head, a TIE pilot from the Falcon's Escape, General Dodonna, and then a bunch of pilots. Dutch Vander, Garvin Drace, Wedge Antilles, Davish Krail, Jack Porkins, Yvonne Verlaine, John Brannon, Theron Nett, and of course, Big Starklighter. So basically I got half of them right. I'm okay with that. And some of them I was like, yeah, the stormtrooper that hits his head, I thought that was a joke. And the Dianoga also kind of was a joke. So there's quite a few that I was shocked to have gotten right. And a lot of them that I missed, I never would have guessed in a million years, like Afra, Yoda, Lando, Qui-Gon. So yeah, this book is going to be a lot of fun.
Liam O asks if Mace Windu's purple lightsaber crystal occurred naturally or if there was a touch of darkness in it. Maybe he bled it halfway from blue to red.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at, but I have to assume that it was just a natural occurrence. There's no evidence yet that he did any bleeding to his crystal. I would think that the Jedi would frown upon that, and if he walked in with a purple lightsaber one day, they'd have some questions. So I think it was probably just natural. And also there is another purple lightsaber in the book Heir to the Jedi, so we know that it has happened more than once. It just seems like it was incredibly rare. Maybe
we'll find out in the comics.
Well, he already has the purple lightsaber at that point.
Maybe it'll be a flashback.
Okay.
You don't know.
That's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below or sign up for Patreon to join our weekly Q&A discussion. And now it's giveaway time. So, completely out of the blue, Target sent us this red Stormtrooper Funko Pop. Like, literally, I don't even know how they got our address or knew to send it to us. It just showed up.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I'm not complaining either. We're going to give this away. There is a link in the description to enter that. The guy looks a lot like Cardinal from the Phasma book, except he's an Imperial Stormtrooper and not a First Order Stormtrooper, but he's super cool, and this thing is normally only going to be available online for Target's red card credit card thing, so you can get it, but this is the only way to get it without a credit card application, I guess. So enter in the description, or click the link in the description to enter. But that's it for today. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel,
and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.